We can then go down to the warehouse level and say, here are the warehouses that we stock this item at, or that this item number exists at. The location code, the item number, what we have on hand, reserved, allocated, on order, whether or not serialized, and the status, and whatever that last S is, where it's the stocking item. So this lets you see what you have in stock and where is it. Now you can drill down, and when you drill down, you get to the inventory record. The inventory record has similar data from the catalog record, the location, item number, the descriptions, whether it's active, behavior, and then here we deal with quantities. In the catalog, we don't deal with quantities because it's not where we stock stuff. So this tells us we have 49,703 on hand for this item, how many on order, reserved, total reserved, and allocated. Reserved is how many orders we have for this item that are within the scheduling window. Total reserved is how many we have orders for in total, and the quantity allocated means the quantity that we have assigned to specific sales orders. Our total safety stock, the worn quantity, unit of measure, last PO date, when the next PO is due in this location, when it's available in this location, last received, last receipt number. Then the first time we sold it from this location, the last time we sold it, the date it went inactive, the last time we consumed it. Consumption is updated by the manufacturing system versus sale. And last production is the last time you produce this item out of manufacturing versus bought it. Then bin information, the default bin for this item within this location. In this location, it can be in bin 1. In another location, it could be in bin 5. The default bulk bin, this is if you have an item that you store in a picking location and you store in a bulk area, you can have a bulk bin and then a fast pulling bin where some companies will have items that are very fast movers right next to the packing and invoicing station where they just don't have to walk to pick it. So it lets you have multiple bins for stuff. Now, the information in the inventory detail record is synchronized from the catalog detail based on some control information. And based upon the control information, the fields are shadowed or not shadowed. For example, here you see the description fields are disabled, whereas in the catalog, they're enabled. That means that the descriptions 1, 2, and 3 are synchronized down or normalized down from the catalog to the inventory item. If you had a warehouse in Mexico and a warehouse in Quebec, you may want to not synchronize them and then keep the descriptions in the appropriate language in the inventory record. One of the common things that's not synchronized is the kitting flag. OFM, for example, when they sell a kit, a chair, and armrests, it goes out as a kit, but when it comes back, it needs to come back not as a kit, but as a finished good. And then in the returns location, it gets exploded, and then the parts moved back into stock. So there are situations where you want all of the fields synchronized, and there's situations where you only want part of them synchronized. And where they're synchronized is in a text data record that lets you control the synchronization. Pricing, we've got pricing for this location if it's different from the catalog, and some historical information. The unit cost is the average weighed cost of the goods in this warehouse. Average weighed cost is calculated as follows. If you have one item in stock with a current average weighed cost of $50, and you receive another item, another unit of that item, and the price has gone up to $60 from $50, after the receiving process, you'll have two items in stock with an average weighed cost of $55. The last cost is the last cost you received it at, commission cost, next cost, standard cost, all the standard information that gets stored here. Details about the item. Again, these are things that can be synchronized or non-synchronized, whether or not you use the same default vendor for each location. The lead days, serial number, prefixes, assembly codes. And then replenishment and counting. Tells you what you have on hand, on reserved, on order again. Tells you what the lead days are, what your allocation window is. And this is specific for this location, not just for the whole item. The reorder point, minimum quantity you want of this item in this location, the maximum quantity, the economical order quantity, the minimum reorder quantity, and then your daily demand is a calculated number that you can refresh that calculates what your daily demand for this item in this location is. The end of month, these are updated by a job at the end of the month, and then your counting information. So this is the stuff that we store at the inventory warehouse level. We can also here drill down further and get to the bin level. This is a bin in the warehouse. And in the bin, we store the bin number, the location, the item number, the type of bin. If you have a complex system, you can identify bins as different types, and that's used for the put away process. You may have bins that are small parts bins. You may have bins that are pallet racks. You may have bins that are automated put away bins. The status of the bin, the unit of measure in the bin says, is this a pallet bin? Is the bin number the same as the location? And whether to delete the bin record when we've pulled the last goods out of the bin. The unique identifier for a bin record is bin number, item number. So some companies like to have the item numbers always in the same bins, in which case you don't delete when empty. If you have what's called the chaotic or random put away, then you delete the bin record when you no longer have anything in it, and it'll get recreated when you stock a bin somewhere. For each bin, we have the quantity in a bin, the quantity that have been committed to either pick lists or shop order picks, how many are free, the date when it was committed, the last quantity you stocked, the last quantity you pulled, and the dates and who did it. Again, a subtype of bin, the maximum quantity that can go in that bin, the maximum weight of this bin, and the location of where the bin is. Then we've got some count information for this bin. Who counted it last, what the last quantity was, what the pre-count quantity was, and that's used for doing the adjustment. When you go out and count stuff, you'll compare it with the pre-count quantity to see if you have to make an adjustment. So that takes us through our 3 levels of catalog and inventory.